Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Corner. Man, do I have a deal for you today. If you are already a subscriber and you already do all the support, like the thumbs up and the sharing the videos and all that kinds of cool stuff, the next best way that you can support the channel is by having your very own Andy's Corner HVAC t-shirt. And who does not need an Andy's Corner HVAC t-shirt? I mean, I think everybody does. So, for a limited time, if you go to Wiles Brand on Facebook, and you like and follow that page, and you mention on there that you got the information from the YouTube channel, you can buy an Andy's Corner HVAC t-shirt for just $10 plus shipping and handling. So for $10, you can have an Andy's Corner t-shirt if you mention that you got the information from this video here. So get yourself an Andy's Corner HVAC t-shirt. Who doesn't need a new t-shirt? But anyways, on to the important stuff. I just want to do a short video today about ductwork. I think ductwork, I've talked about ductwork before, but I can't stress enough that ductwork is way too often overlooked. People say, "Oh, well, I got a new system." Well, they put it in a furnace and air conditioner, and they didn't get a new system because they didn't get new ductwork. I'm not saying that everybody has to replace their ductwork every time they get a new furnace and air conditioner, but the ductwork needs to be looked at. There's different kinds of ductwork. There's different sizing of ductwork. This isn't a one-size-fits-all kind of thing. I know where there's companies that put the same size ductwork in every single house out there. It doesn't work that way. Or I've seen companies put brand new furnaces on some kind of 40, 50-year-old spider system ductwork underneath the house. We need to do better than that. We are buying systems that are high efficient. Furnaces, high efficient air conditioners, geothermals, all this kind of crazy stuff. If you are getting a new system, or if you're recommending a new system, or if you're working on a system as a technician, you need to be checking that ductwork out as well. We need to use ductulators. If you don't know what that is, Google it. And if you're a technician, you should already know what a ductulator is. But we need to make sure that that ductwork is sized right. Again, one size does not fit all. So, you have to have that ductwork has to match the system that you're putting in. If you have a furnace, you put it in a brand new furnace, let's say it's an 80,000 BTU furnace, but that ductwork is undersized and it's only big enough to put out 50,000 BTUs. I'm making numbers up. So, if it can only put 50,000 BTUs through that ductwork, then it didn't do you any good to buy an 80,000 BTU furnace, because for one, you can't get all those BTUs out, and two, all those BTUs are going to stay inside that furnace, and you're going to end up hurting a heat exchanger long before it should have died. You're going to put a back pressure on the blower. Your static pressure is going to be crazy high, and you're going to lose blower motors. Parts are going to fail. That furnace is going to run hotter than it's supposed to. You're going to use more energy, and I'm a big believer. If I buy an 80,000 BTU furnace, I want to be able to get all of my 80,000 BTUs. I don't want to get 50,000 because I have junk ductwork. So ductwork has to be looked at. It has to be, brought up to par if it is lagging. Again, not all ductwork is lagging. There is ductwork out there that's sized right and accordingly and all this kind of stuff. But, somebody has to be looking at it. And too many times, nobody looks at it. They say, "Oh, yeah, we'll throw a furnace in here, not a big deal." That doesn't do any damn good if you don't have the ductwork to match that furnace. So we have to make sure we're looking at it. The other thing is, as far as ductwork, make sure it's insulated. Now, I'm not going to get into the big controversial kind of thing. Are you using duct board? Are you using metal that's wrapped? Are you using metal that's lined or whatever I'm not getting into that, because in every area, everybody has different things that they want to use, they like to use, etc., etc. There's areas where you cannot use duct board whatsoever. And then, some people like lining the inside to be insulated. Some people like to wrap the outside to be insulated, all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of different ways to do it, and everybody has their preferences. Areas, everything is done in different areas, or done differently in different areas. So it just kind of all depends on where you're at, what you're looking for, what you're going to get, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to get into the different types, but as long as it is insulated, because that is more important than anything. Make sure it's insulated and make sure it's sized right. I guess being sized right would be more important than anything, but make sure it's sized right, make sure it's insulated. If that ductwork goes through a crawl space, it definitely has to be insulated. We don't want to lose BTUs, because if we're putting BTUs through there and we have heat loss coming off of that ductwork in a cold or in a 50-degree crawl space, those are BTUs that you're using to heat your crawl space instead of heating your house. If I pay for a BTU, if I pay for one BTU, I want that BTU to be in the house. I don't want to heat the crawl space. What good does that do? You're going to keep the spiders and the bugs and the snakes and stuff like that warm? I don't think so. They're on their own. Hopefully you don't have all that kind of stuff in your crawl space anyways, but we all know what's down there sometimes. So, if one BTU doesn't sound like much, but if I got an 80,000 BTU furnace, dude, that adds up a lot. Think about how many times your furnace runs in a day, and let's say you lose several BTUs each time it runs. Well, you add that up over a day, over a week, over a month, and a year, or a season, however you want to look at that. That's a lot of heat loss that you're just throwing money away. You might as well ball up $1 bills and just every so often go outside and chuck it down in the crawl space. Insulate your ductwork. You also have the issue with uninsulated ductwork of it condensating. If it's in an attic, it has to be insulated. Now, I know for heating and air guys, this just makes sense usually. We think, oh, it's in an attic, it has to be insulated. I get that, but man, we find it all over the place where 30, 40 years ago, somebody ran ductwork in the attic that's not insulated. Whoever came up with the idea that it was okay to put bare metal in an attic, they're idiots. Yeah, they're idiots. I shouldn't say that, but yeah, that's what it is. You do not want metal ductwork in your attic for any reason. It has to be insulated because, when your attic is 120, 150 degrees and you're pulling, 70-degree air through your return through that attic, that's going to sweat. Just like if you get a glass of ice water and you put it outside on a 90-degree day when it's humid and everything else, what happens to the outside of that glass? It sweats, it condensates, because the liquid inside the glass is colder than its surroundings. It's just, ductwork does the exact same thing. So when it's 140, 150 degrees in that attic, and you got 70-degree air coming through there, it's going to sweat. So it has to be sealed, it has to be insulated, and it has to be done right. So, sizing the ductwork, definitely number one. Make sure your returns are sized right, make sure your supply is sized right, and insulate it. Insulate all of it. I don't care where it's at. Even if it's in a basement, insulate it. If it's a conditioned space where, it's in a full basement where it's going to be drywalled around or something, may not be that big of a deal. But talk to your contractor. If you're having ductwork done, talk to them, see what they think. But, most ductwork, especially crawl space, attics, any unconditioned space, something like that, it needs to be insulated because there's all kinds of problems you can come into. And the sizing part, we don't want to cut these furnaces off at the knees, but that is exactly what you're doing if there's not enough ductwork there. And I know that ductwork is expensive. And I know that when you're putting a new furnace and air conditioner in, that adds to that price. And I know there are salespeople out there or technicians or a lot of selling techs and stuff like that that say, well, they weren't gonna buy a new system because there's gonna be so much more money for the ductwork and all that kind of thing. It needs to be explained right that, that ductwork is part of the system. If it's okay, it's in good shape, leave it alone. Maybe do a duct cleaning, clean the dirt out of it, whatever. But if it's sized right, then okay, that's fine, then it can stay. But if it's old, leaky ductwork that is undersized, because usually it's always undersized, if it's undersized, replace it, because these systems are not doing what they were made to do if we undercut the ductwork. So, the houses will be more comfortable, they'll be more efficient, a whole 9 yards. There are so many things that go along with that. So if you are a homeowner out there looking to buy a new system, something like that, make sure somebody's looking at the ductwork. If you have a salesperson that comes to your house and says, yeah, we can put a furnace and air in here, don't even worry about it, and they don't look at your ductwork, find a new contractor, because they need to be looking at that ductwork. They need to be doing load calculations on the house. They need to be getting their ductulator out and measure all that ductwork up and see if it's sized right and everything like that. They should be asking you if you have cold spots, hot spots, or anything like that in the house where you don't have good airflow or temperatures don't seem right in different parts of the house, stuff like that. They should be asking you all these questions. If they are not, it's probably time to find a new contractor, or at least ask them why they're not. So, these things have to be done. So, ductwork is part of that system. Ductwork needs to be taken care of and make sure that's right, just like anything else. So, if you have any questions, comments, concerns, whatever, leave them in the comment box below. Again, if you want an Andy's Corner HVAC t-shirt, go to Wiles Brand on Facebook, follow, and then put on there that you heard this advertisement on YouTube on this video, and you can get a discounted t-shirt. So like I said, anything at all, hit me up in the comments. Like, share, and subscribe as often as possible, or you should hopefully already be subscribed. But make sure you share with all your friends so we can get these videos out there. If you have any questions or anything, just let me know. Thank you, and God bless.